Howdy! Today we're looking at 10 exercises that when combined with the metronome can help you start to build a rock-solid right hand technique. Each exercise in this lesson is going to progressively and slowly get more difficult than the previous. So let's start out with exercise number 1. This one is real simple. It's all downstrokes, and what it's going to be is 4 downstrokes on each string, working your way from the low string to the high string, and then a repeat on that high string and working your way back down. It's going to sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exercise number 2 is a whole lot like exercise number 1, only we're only going to do 2 downstrokes on each string as we work our way up and down the mandolin. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you might be thinking, well, what does your left hand do? Well, right now, our left hand is not the focus of this video. It's all right hand. You might say too, well, these are so easy, Jake. These, just going downstrokes. Geez, that's nothing. Well, I'll tell you what, working with the metronome, trying to keep that nice and steady and match your right hand up with that click is super important, and it's going to pay off big dividends in your playing. Now, so far, we've looked at downstrokes that are aligning with the click. This next one, exercise 3, is all downstrokes, but it's patterns of 3. So you're going to be playing 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, up and down. Now, what's going to end up happening is your downstrokes, obviously they're all downstrokes, so they're still going to line up with that click. But what's going to happen is your changing from string to string is going to be off. So that click is going to be on the upbeat when you switch to some strings. Again, let me play this for you so you can see what I mean. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you can kind of see what I meant there. I tried to accent some of those downbeats when I was with the click, just so that you could hear it in the video, but that is not the goal of this video. The goal, again, is to keep your right hand very steady. All of your notes should be the same. You should be striving to have the same volume and the same tone on every pick in this. You shouldn't be trying to be like going, right? You're striving for even tone across the strings, not accenting for this particular exercise. Hey, I hope you're digging this video so far. Stick around to the end. I'm going to talk about 5 tips that apply to all of these exercises to help you improve your right hand technique. For exercise number 4, we're introducing upstrokes. So exercise number 4 is just going to be 4 notes on each string, working your way up and down, similar to how we have been, but now we're going down, up, down, up. So it'll be like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, you're striving to get into like a zone when you're doing this. I wouldn't just play them one time like I'm showing in the video. I would play that like on repeat, and I would start at a tempo that you find very easy to do. So it might be slower than what I'm playing, it might be faster, but then work your way up. If you could do that at 50, then work your way up, go to 52, 3, 4. And then keep repeating those things until you get to yourself, you find a place that's difficult for you. see what I mean about getting into a trance while you do that. You want that right hand, those downstrokes to be hitting that beat, and you want to get into this like very methodical sort of playing. And again, that's why you want to pick a tempo that works for you, not one that works for Chris Thiele online, right? And you will, if you do this either as a warm-up or as a daily practice, part of your practice routine that's focused, you will start to see dividends in this type of exercise paying off when you're playing pretty much everything else that you play. That's why these exercises are so cool. Exercise number 5 is similar to 4. We're doing downstrokes and upstrokes, but this time we're doing 2 notes per string, working our way up and down instead of 4. It's going to sound like this. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and. Keep that right hand nice and relaxed. Exercise number 6 is similar to exercise number 3 in that we're doing 3 notes per string as we work our way up and back down. But this time, instead of all downstrokes, we're doing upstrokes as well. So what that's going to mean when you play this, I'll do it very slow, is you're going to end up down, and then an upstroke on the next string, up, up, and then a downstroke on the next string, down, and then an upstroke on the high E string, up, up. Then you're going to work your way back down, starting on that E string with a down, then up, up, down, up. So again, your right hand is just playing down, up, non-stop, but you're moving from string to string, not necessarily on a downstroke. So let's hear how this goes. 2, 3, 4. If you're getting anything out of this lesson, please consider liking, subscribing, and leaving me a comment or a question. As always, the tabs are available over at patreon.com/MyBluegrassRomance, along with a bunch of other mandolin-related stuff. Exercise number 7 introduces a new pattern. And what that looks like at the very simplest level is a downstroke on say, the lowest string, then an upstroke on the next highest string, then a downstroke on the lowest string again, and then an upstroke on the low string. So again, it was a pattern like this. Down, up, down, up. We're sticking with that down, up, in our right hand, but we're changing the string. We're playing this string once, this string once, this string twice. So again, it'd be like this. That's half of that thing. The second half of that thing is that now we switch to this string. We play that as a downstroke, and then we play the low string as an upstroke, and then we do a down up on this same D string. So in total, that's 8 notes, and it's gonna, again, it's all down, up, but it's G, D, G, G, D, G, D, D. So let me play that with the metronome here. 3, 4. And it gets you into a bit of a trance when you start to do it. Again, start at whatever tempo you can do it comfortably at. Now, this exercise also includes doing that same pattern, starting on the D string to the A string, so like this. And then also learning it between the A string and the E string. Once you can play all 3 variations of exercise 7, you're ready for exercise 8. And that's when we play that entire pattern between the low 2 strings, then the middle 2 strings, then the high 2 strings, and then we work our way back down to the middle 2, and then the low 2. And that pattern just kind of repeats its way up and down and up and down. So let me play exercise 8 for you. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Exercise number 9 is a whole lot like exercise number 7, but instead of playing between, say, the 2 strings that are lowest, we're playing one variation that's between your G string and your A string, like this, and then the second half of it. So again, that is going to sound like this for the whole eight notes. And then the other variation is playing between the D string and the E string, like this. Now this gets to be more difficult because you're crossing over strings, right? You're trying to miss a string that's in the middle, depending on which variation you're doing. And it can be tricky. So again, keep that tempo nice and slow, nice and steady, working on that right hand, sort of, again, getting in the groove, but also working on its accuracy of where it's hitting. Exercise number 10 combines the 2 variations from exercise 9, but puts them into a steady stream. So you're going to play that pattern on the G and the A string, and then go directly into that same pattern between the D and the E. And then you're going to put those 2 going back and forth between those 2 strings on repeat. So here we go with the metronome. 3, 4. Thanks for sticking around. Here are 5 tips that apply to all of these exercises. And the first one is to keep your right hand movement down to as little as possible for each exercise. And what I mean by that is, like, if you're doing downstrokes, for example, you don't want to like do a downstroke and then have your pick move like way beyond the note, right? Like, I'm exaggerating there, but you want that to be like, because any extra movement, especially like on those later lessons or those later exercises, like when you're doing those different patterns, any extra movement, right, it leads to inaccuracy, just like I just did there, trying to exaggerate. It leads to inaccuracy. It gets your hand away. It's wasted motion. So when you end up playing faster, it ends up slowing you down. And the other thing it does is, again, I think it kind of goes against you playing steady. So if you're close, there's not a lot of time or distance between your pick and the string that you can accelerate more. So like if you played and then go way past it, now you have to make up that much distance to get to the string, and then you have to slow down to hit the string. Otherwise, that next stroke is going to be a lot louder and a little bit more aggressive and a little bit less in control. So again, really strive to keep your right hand movement very, very efficient. And you'll see players like Chris Thiele, for example. I've seen him, and his right hand is just like doing such minimal movement beyond the strings. And it's the same with his left hand. It's pretty fabulous to see. The other thing I would say is strive to get full double strokes or double strings. Like, you want to be able to be playing both strings, when you do those exercises, you don't accidentally want to be... There I was playing 2 downstrokes and 2 upstrokes, but you don't want to be hitting one of the strings. You want to be hitting both of the strings every time you play one of these. The other thing, again, is always just keep your right hand relaxed. It's got to stay relaxed. If you start getting any tension, again, slow that tempo back off till you get to a place that feels like you're playing these exercises relaxed. They don't sound super musical because there's not anything going on with your left hand, so they're kind of just very monotonous, but there should be this drony quality, still a musicality that comes with playing these exercises, and that often is just so much more musical if you're playing from a relaxed point. On that same line, tip number 4 would be to keep very even, right? What we don't want to do is be like... right? Where I'm accenting like the lead note, right? That's very true when you play in like phrases of 3 and you're moving. It's very easy to accent that first note of the 3, and we don't want that in this exercise. We want just, again, very, very even. So strive for that. And the 5th one is, I've said it like 10 times in the video, and I'll say it again because it's so important, is play these things on repeat so they get into a groove. You want to feel that groove and that pulse, and you want to be one with the metronome, right? You want to get into it. And in order to do that, if that metronome has to be set at what you perceive to be a very slow, a very low number, don't let that bother you. Play with what makes you feel comfortable, that you feel you can get into the groove. I guarantee you, when you feel it, you'll feel that. And that might be slow. It might actually be a little bit easier if you play it at a slightly faster tempo. If you're playing at setting that half note at like 40 beats a minute or something, it can be so much time between notes that you can kind of get off just because it's so slow. So again, I don't know, start at 50 beats a minute. That's what I have mine set at. And I think I'm playing 4 notes to every beat. So like... That's what I was playing most of those exercises at. So maybe start with that and work your way up or down slowly till you find that groove that fits for you. Thanks very much for watching today, everybody. Take it easy.